Good evening, everyone. Or rather, I would say namaste. Greetings from India. You can do better. Yeah. I think I heard Gary mention my name. He says if there's problem, he would refer them to Anu. Is that right, Gary?
Right, here you are.
Yeah. Keeping in mind, working in collaboration, there would be potential conflicts. And conflict resolution is something that we talk, but Gary was like, okay, you deal with it. So,
One way to delegate.
yeah. So this is collaboration, and I'm so grateful for Gary. He's such a humble man. And we would like to take you all with us in this journey of collaboration in South Asia. Everything that we do is biblical supported, and the scriptures do support collaboration. Thank you. We have great examples and inspirational stories from the Bible on collaborative efforts and its impacts. We see 300 men pursuing the same vision in alignment with God's assignment will always be more effective than 32,000 men who have their own agendas. The power is not in the count, but in the connection. When you plug in the vision, purpose, and partnership, then you truly see effectiveness. Kingdom advancement is not based on number, qualifications, and popularity. It is based on obedience, alignment, and a hungry heart. If you want to know it for yourself, please do visit Gideon's tribe in the Bible. This gathering is of great significance for all of us. We are called, committed, to see every child in a loving family embraced within a collaborative community. Soon after 2019 World Without Orphans Global Forum, we reached out to all those who felt called, willing to commit, and communicate for our first South Asia Without Orphans team meeting in Pune, India. That's when I met you, Gary, and we together extended our commitment to facilitate South Asia.
Well, Anu, actually, my agenda was something else, to come to Pune. It was to start a Viva network there. And we are here 3 years from there, 4 years since then. And I'm beginning to realize that if Viva and World Without Orphans have the same vision of seeing children safe in godly families, reaching their God-given potential, then why don't we work together? Why do we need to start a new network there? So now here we are, working together to take the South Asia Without Orphan Forum forward.
Wonderful. It does take a lot of effort, and as I've constantly been hearing, it takes time, it takes efforts to leave all your logos and egos to come forward to do collaboration together. Well, now those that felt the call came forward to initiate country networks in India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. We were so excited to see 21 people traveling down to Pune in our city in India. And that's where the connection happened.
Well, Anu, you did the calling. My only role was to facilitate the collaboration process. So, yes, we had people committed who are still in this hall from India, from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. They're such a blessing to the South Asia Without Orphan Forum that we've been able to build in the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I remember soon after our time together in Pune, we were soon, really hit bad with the pandemic, COVID-19. Then we decided to meet via Zoom calls And we continued to take the initiative, build relationship, and we were intentional in our approach to build the team of South Asia.
Yeah, well, just as we had started the work in South Asia without orphans, COVID hit us. And we started talking on Zoom, on phone calls, and just wondering how people were. And we asked about them, people and their children who we were calling our friends and community members. And then we wondered how are people living in the marginalized sections of the society and some of our best beneficiaries of our programs, how are they coping with COVID? Loss of jobs, COVID infections. And that's when we heard about the COVID-19 parenting tips. And we said, well, let's look deeper into it and see if they are of any use.
Right, yeah. I think meanwhile, the World Without Orphans Global Team collaborated with the Center of Disease Control and WHO to develop the COVID parenting tips. We are together now on this journey, and that prepares you with not only the heart, but the mindset shift that was happening in South Asia. We also began to share resources and connections that are needed to develop collaborative initiatives. We know we cannot do this alone, right?
Yeah, I know, right. So we said if we send these parenting tips out by WhatsApp and other posters, what impact will they have on the people? So with Viva, they made phone scripts that we could train mentors to speak to the children and the families they were connected with. So like we trained a mentor who would then connect with 15 families in their community or in their church group or prayer group and just ask them how they were doing during COVID, reading the phone scripts, going through the phone scripts, and at the end share the COVID parenting tip. Or the phone script was based on the COVID parenting tip. And that really went wild in Sri Lanka.
Wide and wild.
Wild, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, let's have a closer look at the parenting tips, implementations, and we spread the parenting tips far and wide, Gary. Our team from South Asia to join with us.
Yeah, so we talk about committed, called, and multiplication. And we saw multiplication happen between this partnership of National Christian Evangelical Alliance, Sri Lanka, WWO, and Viva. And you can see 140 mentors were trained over the phone. And there's more Praveen here to tell you about it from Sri Lanka. Yeah, now, not just Sri Lanka, but here's the statistics. Now, every time the mentor would call, they would log that call and the response from the parent and the child on the computer. And this is a data which we can't fudge because it's given by a computer to us. And here we managed to do 8,000 families working with 1,400 mentors in 18 countries, 39 organizations, 26,000 children, 37,000 people were reached, 44,000 calls were made. This is evidence-based report on the parenting tips. There's more to it, but I'm sure Susan is very happy to do this, and thank you so much.
Dr. Susan is going to be very happy with all the evidence-based report. As you know, Dr. Susan. Yeah, we thank God for Susan. Now that COVID was over, we returned to our plan of building the South Asia Without Orphans movement. We called on the church leaders, and practitioners from our region for a roadmap training. We then facilitated training in a hybrid style, right? It was truly exciting to see 178 childcare practitioners signing up for our training. It was really exciting. Now by 2023, we felt the need of coming together in person. COVID was over. There were no restrictions. So we thought, okay, let's get together, and meeting in person would be more meaningful, where we could talk about our strategies and identify our team facilitators, country facilitators, and therefore we decided to meet in Sri Lanka.
So you can see the team over here, South Asia Without Orphans team, from Sri Lanka, from Bangladesh, from India, and from Nepal. So the movement is growing, and then we said, how should we plan together as South Asia, or should each country have its own plan? And that's when we used the roadmap activities for each country to design their own activity plan for the year. And because each country is different, so you can't have one common plan for South Asia. And again, it has to be the country that owns the movement, the country leaders that have to own the movement. So this gives an opportunity for the country leaders to design their own plans, participate in them, and implement them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was happy to work on the schedule for this time with an intentional planning on our values based on relational, spiritual, and being very practical in our approach to do country facilitation. So it was really good, Gary.
The venue was also very nice. Lugo can vouch for it. We really did enjoy the beach in Sri Lanka. So next time, if you're thinking of a good collaborative event, please consider the beaches of Sri Lanka.
Yeah, absolutely. Sri Lanka, we need to check with you before we promote all that. Okay, our focus in the region is to especially envision the church in India. We then called on pastors in India, bishops, church leaders, together in 3 different zones in India to introduce the roadmap training. And through partnership with Miracle Foundation, it was evidence-based and learning community experience towards reunification of children from child care institutions to family-based care.
Yeah, the challenge which, sorry, I'll just tell you, Bangladesh also, because we're running short of time, Anu.
Yeah.
So I'll just run through this. So with Bangladesh, Without Orphans, they did the Orphan Sunday with church leaders, and we had the Nepal section. Now, trying to develop the Nepal Without Orphans is a different setting because Christianity wasn't allowed in Nepal in 1951. And only after that, doors are opened to spreading Christian faith. And that's when Nepal Christian Fellowship was formed so that Christians could come together and structure themselves. And so there's unity among Christian people and churches in Nepal. And we used the strategy was, which Nepal gave us, to use the Nepal Christian Forum, which is spread across every district in Nepal, to spread the World Without Orphan movement. So we've got to contextualize the movement according to the country and the region.
That's right. I often have thought our subcontinent is such a complex place with such diversity, culture, and context. How do we proceed with the World Without Orphans movement? What's the common thread in our region, Gary?
Well, it's WhatsApp, it's Pinterest, it's social
Facebook.
media, it's your branded clothes, New Balance shoes. Everyone's wearing such stuff.
So basically, you were talking about youth engagement, right? So, well, we thought about it and getting the youth to spread the message of every child belonging in a safe and loving family. We then connected with the city youth who are passionate and feel really called to embrace this vision. And really, initiative of the youth, Gary.
So we got the youth together. Anu did the calling, and I said, let me, try and co-create, not even co-create, let them lead this movement. And they came up with this design, the logo, and the website it's a forum website called Felt Heart, which means Family for Every Little Heart.life. And you can go to this website, log on to the website. It's got resources, it's got conversation topics. If you're interested in why families matter, or adoption, or teenage issues, you can log in and leave a comment or write your own story that you've had an experience which may be interested to address orphanhood. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's now we've taken this movement to the youth, and the youth are going to lead it. So it's the new wine.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, as we give such a short glance over this journey in South Asia, we are just grateful as we see the hand of God leading us on. It is not possible without God's grace, even to come together unity, and therefore we thank the Lord and World Without Orphans Global Forum. Since then, 2019, we began to put thoughts and prayers together. And indeed, it's the result of prayers that we have prayed that we come together as South Asia region. We want to thank you, and we do hope to see every orphan and vulnerable child in South Asia belonging in safe and loving families. Remember, it's just one child at a time. We will then see South Asia without orphans reached in our lifetime. Thank you.